Okay, so I just dropped the kids off at a VBS that they're going to this week, and I thought I would, but not Liam, as you can see. I thought I would do just a little update here on my endo. Today's actually been a really bad endo day. I woke up in excruciating pain again this morning and could not move. So Topher had to stay home today for the morning until the Advil took the edge off enough where I could at least be present. I'm not super functional today. I've pretty much been laying around all day, even with a lot of Advil in me. It hurts to walk, it hurts to sit, it hurts to do everything right now, and I think I figured out because I think I mentioned in my last video, and I will put a card and link it below my playlist and even my specific last update. But I had mentioned that I was feeling better, and I thought maybe it had to do with some diet changes I was making. I went dairy-free, and I was mostly gluten-free. I wasn't super strict with it, but I was strict with the dairy. And so this last week, well, 2 weekends ago, we went camping with friends, and I wasn't super strict with the dairy. I didn't have a lot, like I just took like a lick or two of ice cream from my son because my husband wasn't around and he was dripping, so I was like, oh, whatever, it's just a couple licks. And then that week I wasn't feeling that good, and then this past week I was at the beach and I was like, okay, I'm just gonna see really how much this dairy thing is affecting me. And so I didn't eat a ton of dairy. I mean, it's not like I drank glasses or had meals that were covered in cheese or even had lots of cheese. You know, I had like a couple things, little things here and there through the weekend. And yesterday I was blah. It wasn't horrible, but I just kind of fell off, and then I woke up today. And so that's the thing that I've noticed, is that dairy doesn't necessarily hit me right away. It can happen a couple of days later, the effects of the dairy. Gluten, I don't have any kind, I can't tell any immediate effects from, or like anything like that. I think it's just an overall kind of day-to-day thing. If I don't eat it, I generally don't have any kind of issues. If I do eat it, I may just feel a little bloated type thing. But I don't necessarily get like endo pain. It's just like my stomach might feel a little sore. And so the reason for getting rid of gluten is because you don't want to exacerbate other areas in your stomach that will then irritate your endo. So then the other thing I've noticed in this last month is that alcohol. I've always had weird issues with alcohol, where I'll randomly get really red and hot and flushed in the face, but it's not all the time, and it's not with the same liquors, and it's not with the same, like I can have it 1 week and the next week it doesn't bother me, and it doesn't matter even like what foods I ate it with or anything like that. We can never find, and I've asked my family to try and keep track. I've talked with lots of people to try and figure out, why do I sometimes react to liquor and sometimes react to beers, but not always? And I could never figure it out. I would just have to, it would only be like sips. Like I would get 2 or 3 sips in, and I would instantly get all red and flushed in my face. So I'd stop drinking and I'd chug a glass or 2 of water, and my symptoms would go away. So I just assumed it was an allergy. Well, in the last 2 months, every time I've drank more than 1 malt beverage, 1 beer of sorts, I am up all night in excruciating pain. And it's like bowel movement pain. Like nothing is wrong with my bowel movements. It's just my bowels hurt like crazy from it. And then the next day, depending on how much I drank the night before, determines how bad I'll feel even the next day. So the one day I drank a lot the one night before, and that next day I was dizzy the entire day from the pain in my stomach. I could not even stand up without feeling like I was gonna fall over, and that's not because I was drunk or hungover. It's because the pain in my stomach was so severe I could not function. And again, this weekend I had like 2 malt beverages, and 1 malt beverage had a shot in it. And that night I was up all night. Felt like crap. Next day wasn't horrible because it wasn't that much to drink. But of course I was tired and felt still kind of miserable because I didn't get any sleep the night before. So it seems as if diet does play, it is obvious that diet plays a huge role in how well my endo is managed. So I looked into the alcohol, and alcohol, it increases your estrogen levels, which is why guys who drink a lot of beer tend to have man boobs. And so it's because it's increasing their estrogen levels in their body, and so they get man boobs. And so obviously for me, who struggles with estrogen affecting my endo, that's what makes endo flare, is when your estrogen levels are too high. So alcohol gives me an immediate effect because it immediately spikes my estrogen. Whereas dairy, I forget which one it is, there's something in the dairy, like a key component. It's not like I'm lactose intolerant or have an allergy to it. There's like a protein or something like in it, no matter if it's organic, you know, antibiotic free, any of that has nothing to do with it. It's just what milk is fundamentally made of that acts as estrogen. So I'm guessing the reason it takes so long for it to affect me to its full effect is because of how long it takes to get into my system and affect my system and process through my liver and all that jazz. And that's why I'm guessing, takes longer for me to feel the effects of dairy. But it's not a lactose intolerance, and it's not an allergy. I don't get any kind of I don't have any GI issues with this stuff. That's not what this is with the alcohol, the gluten, or the dairy. I never have GI issues. It's literally just pain from endo, being the endometrium cells being in the wrong spots in my body and causing major inflammation essentially on those parts because of the endometriosis. So you have to control your estrogen to help with the symptoms. If you can't get it removed, if you can't go in for surgery to have it removed, there's really no other way to completely get rid of it or to cure it. The only way you can get rid of it is have surgery. So I am actually going to go see a specialist, hopefully. I'm going to call and try and get up there, but the closest one is in New York. So that makes it a bit difficult in planning with 4 kids. But I plan to call tomorrow when I'm feeling better and I can think straight. And try and get an appointment set up just to kind of talk about everything with them, and see what his or hers, I think it's a him, what his recommendations are for my endometriosis. I'm going to assume he's going to say surgery. I don't know if he'll want laparoscopy to do, to exploratory laparoscopy to see what I have first, or what the protocol will be. But this is a doctor who actually specializes in endometriosis and all the other issues that can go along with that. There are other things through talking with people who have endometriosis, as I describe my symptoms to them, that they say I may have other kind of sister-like conditions with it. So I just really need to go see a specialist who is well versed in this and understands it and isn't looking and is up on all of the new information on endometriosis. It's just going to be, you know, a long time before I can get it all settled, I'm sure. And so, you know, going on a special diet requires extra money, and it requires even socially, I don't know, it's a pain because now every time I go somewhere, I have to make sure there's something I can eat. And I hate that. I always remember growing up and seeing people who had to deal with that and thinking, I never want to have that. I never want to have to deal with that. I never want to be, I feel like it would be a burden to people. And here I am having to do it to the nth degree. No alcohol, no, I probably shouldn't eat sugar too, but I'm sorry. I can't have dairy, I can't have gluten, I can't have alcohol, I'm having sugar. But it's just one of those things where I'm frustrated with anytime we make a trip, I have to make sure I have places that we can eat, or if we go to people's houses, I have to be that burdensome one that says, oh, can you make sure the meal you're preparing for us doesn't have any gluten or dairy in it, or has options with no gluten and dairy, so that I don't feel like crap for the next week. What? Your shoes? How did your shoes hurt you? You don't know? Are you okay? You have a boo-boo. Are you okay? Okay, good. So yeah, so that's where I'm at. I've got a massive headache from the pain from today, and I just took Advil, so that's why I'm semi-coherent, because I needed to drive, so I needed to be able to think and be alert of my surroundings. And I'm talking, hoping to kind of keep myself from being, because I'm exhausted. I've had 2 cups of coffee and hasn't touched it because my body is literally exhausted from dealing with the pain all day. And so I thought, well, maybe if I talk about it and record my update, it'll keep me awake and alert, you know. So yeah, I will keep everybody updated on it. Oh, the other thing I noticed this past month is that during the day, I had like 4 weeks where I felt like very minimal to no pain for most of the time. And then I don't know if I started doing too much, or if I wasn't being as clean as I thought I was with my diet. And I started to notice that during the days having minor pain, but then at night it was becoming unbearable again, and I would be up till 2 in the morning in pain. And then was struggling with like insomnia and things like that, because I was so exhausted and wanted to sleep, but I was in so much pain I couldn't sleep. So it may have also been that my hormones were still leveling off from the Mirena, because I'm just now at the 3-month mark. I'm like a week or 2 past it. So during the day I was able to function fine. I mean, I was still in, like I said, a little bit of pain, but it wasn't any amount of pain that I couldn't kind of ignore and learn to deal with. Like, I don't know, I just learned to deal with being in constant pain. And as long as it's not debilitating, I just kind of deal with it and just ignore it and not let it control my life, which is sad. And so I think at night, it seems like what was happening is I would go to sit down and relax, and my body would just kind of like throw its arms up and say, what are you doing all day? You shouldn't have been doing all that. Don't you know you have a disease or an illness, whatever this is? And I would end up in writhing pain with heat pads all night, taking Advil again so that I could fall asleep. I actually think I'm going to buy some, what? I don't know. I was thinking about getting some melatonin to maybe help me kind of fall asleep in those times when I obviously need sleep, but my brain can't shut off from the pain. So I was thinking like taking some melatonin and some like Advil to kind of knock myself out at those days when it's so bad at night I can't sleep. I have been waking up through the night. Also, of course, once my son finally starts sleeping through the night, I start waking up through the night from the pain. So that was another thing that has been happening, that I'll go to sleep and then a couple hours later I wake up. And I can go to sleep pretty quickly from those times, but I was still waking up through the night in pain. So yeah, that's where I'm at. Hooray, hurrah. I'll keep you updated on my doctor visits and things like that, and how my diet affects me after being really strict this month with it. Today on, I'm not messing with it ever again. I'll go hungry. Alright, I will talk to you all later.